Verexis 4 was a quiet border planet of the Draken Union, a place where nothing exciting ever happened. The sky was always calm, the space lanes were empty, and the early warning stations mostly watched dust clouds passing by. On most days the Draken officers sat half asleep at their consoles, listening to the hum of machines and waiting for their shifts to end. But today felt different. A young Draken officer named Talish noticed something strange on his scanner. A small pulse, then another, then a third. The signals were too regular to be noise, but too faint to be ships. He leaned closer. "What is that?" he whispered to himself. He called his supervisor, but the older officer only laughed. "It is nothing, Talish. The border is quiet. You are reading ghosts." Talish wanted to believe him, but the pulses kept growing stronger. Each minute, the reading expanded, like a shadow rising behind a curtain. Soon, the pulse became a wave, and the wave became a shape. Talish's eyes widened. "Sir, this is not noise. Something is coming." His words were ignored again. The Draken Union was confident, proud, and sometimes arrogant. They believed no threat could surprise them. Their empire had crushed many smaller species. They thought they understood all dangers in the galaxy. They were wrong. Outside the station window, the stars began to shimmer, not flicker shimmer, as if space itself was bending. The Draken officers finally stopped joking. They stood up, staring at the sky. "What is happening?" one whispered. The scanners screamed with new readings. Dozens, hundreds, then thousands. Massive energy signatures appeared, where there had been nothing just seconds before. Then everything became silent. No jump flash, no warm-up engines, no warning. The human Warfleets simply appeared. The Draken froze. No one had seen a human in 2 centuries. Rumors said humanity had died out, destroyed in some distant war. Others said humans went into hiding. Many believed humans were only a myth now, but the cold truth was floating in front of them. Colossal human dreadnoughts filled the sky, dark as mountains, glowing with strange blue energy. Their armor reflected no light. Their engines made no sound. They looked less like ships and more like shadows of a giant beast. Impossible. An officer whispered. Tail shook where he stood. He scanned their structure again and again. Human ships were larger than Draken battleships. Their power core were off the scale. The formation was perfect, so perfect that Talish felt as if one mind controlled all of them at once. "Why are they here?" someone asked. No one knew. The Draken scrambled their defenses, but their fleet was unprepared. Officers screamed orders. Fighters launched in panic. Stations activated, shields and turrets. Alarms echoed across VA Rex's dash for still. The human ships stayed silent. No move, no shot, no signal. The silence was worse than an attack. It felt like the humans were watching them, judging them, deciding something. Then a single human message cut through every Draken system. The voice was calm, cold, and absolute. "This sector belongs to us now." The message repeated in every Draken language at once. Every officer felt it sink into their bones. The humans had not come for diplomacy. They had not come for trade. They had not come for peace. They had come to take back something. Talish whispered, "We are not ready for this." But it was already too late. The human fleet moved as one, turning toward the planet. Their engines glowed brighter, folding the space around them like liquid. The Draken Union finally understood. Humanity had returned, and they were no longer the species the galaxy once knew. For hours after the human Warfleets appeared, the Draken Union sat frozen in fear. Their admirals tried to understand the enemy's intentions, but the humans refused to speak again. Only their silent formation hung in orbit like a storm waiting to fall. In the Draken High Command Chamber, the leaders argued with raised voices. Some demanded an immediate strike. Others begged for retreat. None of them agreed on anything. Except on one fact: humanity should not exist. 200 years ago, humans disappeared from the galaxy. Records said they fought a terrible war with a mysterious enemy far from Draken space. That war was so violent that many believed humans were wiped out completely. Their colonies went dark. Their ships vanished. Their home systems were abandoned. Now, that same species had returned with ships stronger than anything the Draken had ever seen. Inside the flagship of the human fleet, another story was unfolding. Admiral Rowan Hale, commander of the Terran Recovery Armada, stood before a holographic map. His face was stern, quiet, and calm, the kind of calm that only came from decades of war. His officers waited for his command, Grecan forces are mobilizing, one human officer said. Should we send another warning? Hale shook his head slowly. No, they already know why we are here. A younger officer frowned. Admiral, do they? Their council keeps asking for talks. Hale's eyes hardened. They attacked one of our hidden colonies. That is enough. A quiet tension filled the room. After the old human war ended, humanity had scattered, rebuilding in secret. They created hidden colonies far from the main routes. Most were small, simple worlds, protected by secrecy rather than weapons. But one of those colonies had been discovered and destroyed. 3,000 human civilians died. The Draken Union believed the colony belonged to pirates or smugglers. They saw a small settlement and thought it was illegal. They destroyed it without warning, without investigation. By the time they realized the truth, it was too late. Humanity had heard their screams. Now Admiral Hale's fleet had returned, not for negotiation, not for diplomacy, but for justice. Back on Verixus 4, young officer Talish connected the last pieces. He read the reports. He listened to the intercepted messages. And then he understood the terrifying truth. Humans are not invading, he whispered. They are retaliating. As he said those words, the station shook. Human drones, small, fast, and invisible to many Draken sensors, spread across the system. They hacked communication networks. They disabled satellites. They shut down Draken engines without firing a shot. Admiral Hale didn't even need to attack. He simply removed the Draken's ability to fight. Inside the Draken War Council, panic reached its peak. Generals shouted. Advisors collapsed onto chairs. The Draken Emperor demanded answers. Why are humans doing this? He shouted. We offered peace. No, Talish said quietly. We offered excuses. The council stared at him. Tail Esh showed them a recovered report from the destroyed colony. The footage was grainy but clear. Human families running from burning houses, trying to escape Draken bombardments. Their screams echoed through the chamber. A heavy silence fell. The Draken Council finally understood the horror of their mistake, but understanding came too late. Outside, the human fleet rearranged into a new formation. It looked like a blade made of starlight, pointing directly at the planet. A final message came through. This time, Admiral Hale spoke calmly and clearly. Return what was taken from us, or we will take everything. The Draken Union trembled. Humanity had changed. They were no longer explorers. They were no longer weak. They were no longer running. They had come back stronger, sharper, and ready for war. And the galaxy would soon learn why humans should always be feared. The first shot of the war did not come from the Draken. It came from fear. A panicked Draken captain on a nearby battleship fired a warning beam toward the human fleet. Only a small pulse, only for a second, but it was enough to break the fragile silence holding the system together. The pulse hit the shield of a human dreadnought and vanished without a trace. Inside the Draken command station, Talish whispered, "Oh no, that was a mistake." And it was, because the humans reacted instantly. The Terran flagships shifted formation in one smooth movement, as if an invisible hand pushed every ship at once. Their engines glowed with cold blue light. Their weapons activated with soft hums that felt more dangerous than explosions. The human fleet advanced, not slowly, not loudly, but with perfect, terrifying precision. Draken admirals screamed orders. Fighters launched in panic. Dozens of destroyers raced to form defensive walls, but the Draken had no idea how to fight an enemy who moved like this. Human ships did not follow normal physics. They appeared and disappeared, flickering like ghosts. They glided between Draken lines without effort. Are they An officer shouted. No. Talish said, it's something else. It's like they're slipping between space. The first Draken defense line never stood a chance. Human phasing cannons hit their shields, turning solid metal into glowing dust. Draken cruisers began falling one by one, their engines shutting down, their hulls cracking under pressure. Admiral Hale watched the battle from his flagship with cold eyes. Disable, not destroy, he ordered. They must live to understand. Human drones swarmed forward, thousands of small silver machines, moving like a metal storm. They sliced through Draken networks, hacked engines, shut down targeting systems, and blinded sensor arrays. The Draken ships became helpless, drifting in space like broken toys. But despite the chaos, something unexpected happened. A human fighter was hit by stray Draken fire. The small craft spun out of control, trailing smoke and sparks. It crashed into a Drekken observation platform near Talish's station. Security teams rushed toward the wreck, but Talish's instinct pulled him forward. He ran toward the broken fighter before the others could reach it. Security teams rushed toward the wreck, but Talish's instinct pulled him forward. He ran toward the broken fighter before the others could reach it. Inside the cockpit, he found a wounded human soldier, a woman breathing hard, holding her side. Her armor was cracked, and blood stained her suit. Talish froze. Humans were supposed to be monsters, unstoppable machines, but this one looked scared, hurt, tired. "Stay back," she whispered, raising a weak hand. "I won't hurt you." Talish lifted both hands slowly. You're alive. You're real." She tried to laugh, but winced in pain. "I'm Sergeant Arya Quinn, Terran Marines." Her voice trembled. "Are you Then you should run. My fleet won't stop." "I don't want to hurt you," Talish said. "I only want answers." Arya stared at him, surprised. Why would a Drekken want answers? "Your people already killed ours." Talish felt the words stab him like a blade. "We didn't know," he whispered. "We didn't know you were human." Arya's eyes softened for a moment. She looked tired, angry, and full of grief. "They destroyed families," she said. "They burned everything, and nobody warned us. Nobody came to help." Talish understood that the war was not about territory. It was about pain, justice, revenge. Outside, the battle grew even louder. Human ships burned through Drekken defenses as if they were paper. The sky flashed with explosions and fire. Talish helped Arya stand. "There is something wrong," he said. "Someone made the Drekken attack your colony. Someone wanted this war." Arya stared at him with shock. "What are you saying?" "I've seen reports," Talish said. "Data does not match. Signals were changed. Records were altered." A sudden dread filled the room. "Someone tricked us," he whispered. "Humans and Drekken both." Arya's eyes went cold. Then this war was planned. Outside, Admiral Hale prepared the next strike. Inside, Talish and Arya discovered a darker truth, a truth that would change everything. The war between humans and the Drekken Union burned across the system, but Talish could no longer focus on the battle outside. His mind kept repeating the same thought. Someone wanted this war. Sergeant Arya Quinn leaned against the wall, still weak from her injuries, but her eyes were sharp. "Explain," she said. "What do you mean signals were changed?" Talish opened a holoscreen and brought up data logs. "The colony your people lost. The Drekken fleet didn't find it by accident. They followed a signal, an emergency beacon, but the beacon was not human. It was a copy." Arya frowned. "A fake beacon? Who would do that?" He zoomed in on the encryption pattern. "This code is not Drekken, and it is not human." Arya stared, confused. "Then who?" Before Talish could answer, the station shook violently. Human phase torpedoes struck a Drekken cruiser outside. Alarms screamed. Smoke filled the corridor. Arya grabbed her helmet instinctively. "We don't have time," she said. "If Admiral Hale sees this place as a threat, he will destroy it." "No," Talish said. "He must see this." He pointed at the HOLO. Arya hesitated. Human Marines were trained to trust only their own commanders, especially during war. But something in Talish's voice made her pause. He wasn't lying. Outside, another explosion rattled the walls. "Fine," she said. "Whoever faked that beacon, show me." Talish pulled up the final decrypted layer. A strange pattern appeared, sharp symbols, like claws carving into metal. Arya stepped closer. The moment she saw the symbol, her blood went cold. "That mark," she whispered. "I know it." Talish turned. "You do?" Arya nodded slowly. "It belongs to a species called the Verkesh." Talish felt the name strike him like ice. "That is impossible. The Verkesh vanished centuries ago." Arya shook her head. "No, humanity fought them. Your people never did. They hide in the shadows, waiting. They do not fight their own battles. They make others fight for them." Talish stared at the hologram. "They wanted humans to attack the Drekken," he said softly. "And they wanted Drekken to fear humans," Arya added. "They wanted both sides weak." As the two shared this realization, the light suddenly flickered red. A Drekken guard rushed into the room. "Talish," he shouted. "Human forces are boarding the station." Arya straightened. "My people are coming." Talish looked between her and the guard. "We must reach your admiral," he said. "If humans destroy this station, the truth dies with us." Arya knew he was right. She touched her helmet, activating her communication link. "This is Sergeant Quinn." I'm alive. I have critical information. I need extraction. Static answered her. Human jammers were blocking the signal. Talish grabbed her arm. Follow me. There is a secure relay on the upper deck, strong enough to cut through jamming. Arya nodded. They ran through burning corridors as Draken and human teams exchanged fire. Sparks rained from the ceiling. Bodies lay on the floor. The station groaned with each new hit. Twice, Draken guards tried to stop Arya, but Talish shouted them down. She is with me. She carries information that can save us. Human drones cut through bulkheads. Draken turrets blasted them. The war, outside, had now entered the station itself. Finally, they reached the secure relay room. Talish activated the console. Send your message. Arya input her code. The relay hummed, then forced a signal through the jamming field. Admiral Hale, she said, breathing hard. We were manipulated. A third species triggered this war. The Verkesh are real. The signal cracked, then carried through. A long silence followed. Then Admiral Hale's voice came through. Calm but heavy. Sergeant Quinn, bring that Draken officer to me. Both of you. Arya looked at Talish. This is our chance. But before they could move, the console flashed a warning. Multiple unknown ships detected. Talish froze. Unknown, Arya whispered. It's them. The Verkesh had arrived, and they were ready to finish what they started. The alarms inside the Draken station screamed louder than before. Talish and Sergeant Arya Quinn stared at the blinking warning on the console. Multiple unknown ships, DITISID. Dark shapes emerged from deep space, silent, sharp, and alive with strange energy. They did not jump in. They did not warp in. They simply appeared, bending the light around them like living shadows. Arya whispered, Verkesh warships. They have come to finish the war they started. Talish felt his heart freeze. They wanted us to destroy each other first, to make both sides weak. Arya nodded. They always attack when two species are fighting. It is their way. Before they could react, Admiral Hale's voice crackled through the relay. Talish, Sergeant Quinn, you will come to my flagship immediately. A boarding shuttle approached the station. Draken guards looked ready to fight it, but Talish stepped forward. Stand down. This is our only chance. For the first time, Draken soldiers listened to a low-ranking officer. Fear made them humble. Arya supported Talish as they boarded the human shuttle. Moments later, they arrived on the human flagship. The corridors were bright, cold, and filled with disciplined Marines. No one spoke. Everyone moved with silent purpose. Admiral Hale stood at the center of the command deck, staring at the hologram of the system. The Verkesh fleet spread like a dark stain across the stars. He turned to them. You bring proof? He asked. Arya nodded. Yes, sir. They manipulated both sides. They faked the Draken signal. They killed those civilians. Talish stepped forward. Admiral, the Draken Council will listen. They will fight with you. They have no choice now. Hale studied him carefully. You risk your life for my people. Why? Talish swallowed. Because someone must stop the real enemy. For a long moment, the Admiral said nothing. Then he nodded once. Good. Then we fight together. He opened a channel to the entire system. This is Admiral Rowan Hale of the Terran Recovery Armada. All Draken units. Ceasefire. A greater enemy is here. For a moment, only silence answered. Then a Draken fleet commander spoke, voice shaking. We will join you. The humans and Draken fleets moved into formation, not as enemies, but as allies facing extinction. Their ships formed a wide shield wall around the planet. Battleships aligned side by side. Drones and fighters took defensive positions. The Verkesh fleet moved slowly, like predators savoring fear. Their ships pulsed with dark energy. They released clouds of parasitic drones that swarmed forward like insects. Hold the line, Hale ordered. The battle began. Human phase cannons tore through Verkesh swarms. Draken plasma lances carved burning paths in the enemy formations. Explosions lit the dark like new stars. Still, the Verkesh pressed forward. A massive enemy dreadship appeared larger than anything in the system. Its core glowed bright red, building power. Admiral, an officer said, that ship will destroy everything. Hale looked at Talish and Arya. Then we end this now. He ordered human ships to create a gravity pulse near the local star. The plan was dangerous. If the timing was wrong, it would kill their own fleets. Talish watched the Admiral work with steady, fearless precision. This is how humans survived. Talish whispered. The pulse-activated dot space twisted. The star's gravity surged in a violent wave. The Verkish dreadship lost control. It was dragged toward the star's crushing pull. Its hull cracked. Its swarm fell apart. One final blast of light filled the sky. The Warfleets fleet was destroyed. The battle was over. Silence returned to Space Heavy. Broken and full of relief, the humans and Draken fleets drifted together. Ships damaged but alive. Arya looked at Talish. We did it. No, Talish said softly. We survived. Now we must rebuild. Admiral Hale's voice echoed across the command deck. Today, humans and Draken fought side by side. Let this be the beginning of a new alliance. Because the Verkish were only the first, more threats are coming. Talish felt a chill, but also a strange hope. Humanity had returned, not as ghosts, not as legends, but